Campaigners say people with autism are not being well served by the social care system. Research by the charity The Health Foundation shows only around 10% of social care staff have had any training in how to support people with autism. And the National Autistic Society says more than 300,000 people are being let down by their local social services, despite £5.6 billion, that's 40% of local authority spending on social care, going to people with learning disabilities and autism. Our correspondent Jeremy Cook has been to meet one family who feel let down by the social care system.
Hi, my name's Will. I'm 18 and I have severe mental health problems.
He was passionate about so many things. He was intelligent. He was so loving, but he had been troubled his whole life.
I think it's important to share my experience so other people can get the treatment that they need.
Will Melbourne died when he was 19. He'd been reaching out, trying to save others, but felt abandoned by the services that were supposed to save him.
It's such a failure of the system that a boy of that, incredible mind and talent could go through so much pain in his life.
Will was autistic and lived with the torment of chronic anxiety and depression. He loved music, and he and his mum wrote this piece together. It is the sound of love and pain and loss.
I remember I started just crying in class. I'd just stare at the wall and start crying for absolutely no reason. Then I started getting quite suicidal.
A crisis point. Will's family says it came after a lifetime of letdowns, of waiting 6 years for an autism diagnosis, struggling to get help with mental illness and drug use, and fragmented, inconsistent support from social services.
Imagine if you're suffering, and you might even die due to suicide, and yet you're not being given therapy because you have to wait 1 year and 2 months to get it. It's utterly disgraceful.
He would overdose, he would self-harm, he would cut his wrists, he was attacking us. It was literally untenable.
I was saw by a psychiatric nurse, and do you want to know what they told me? Told me to download a mindfulness app after I just tried to kill myself. An app.
Will was buying drugs on the dark web, self-medication. His life was spiralling down.
He thought of himself as a monster, and he wanted to cure himself, and he wanted to fit into society.
Eventually, the local authority found Will a place to live. He was moved to what's called supported accommodation.
You trust that he is safe with that body, whoever's looking after him. And it was clear that he wasn't safe at all. Yeah.
Will died alone in squalor, in the assisted living flat where he was supposed to be safe.
As the need got stronger, the help seemed to fall away even more. It's incredible.
Was Will savable?
Oh God, yeah. I'm really angry, and I'm really angry at the system. I'm really angry for all the people that are going through this now, and there must be thousands.
This whole system is based on the idea that you have to be in crisis to get help. The crisis service is just not fit for purpose.
Will's family hope an inquest will help answer how and why their son died.
I hope my experience helps someone. Thanks for watching.
The voice of Will Melbourne there in that report from Jeremy Cook. Well, our social affairs correspondent Alison Holt is here. The sad truth is, Alison, Will's case, he's not alone, is he?
Yeah, exactly right, Clive. I mean, Will and his family speak so powerfully about their long, grinding struggle to try and get services, and ultimately the failure of the system to help when it was needed. But part of the tragedy is that there are so many other families who are in that situation. Certainly I've spoken to family after family who, when they have asked for help, they have had difficulties getting that help, particularly when they can see a crisis approaching. The sort of services that might head off that crisis haven't been there, or services have arrived at the point of crisis and at that point, the only option is perhaps a secure hospital, which brings with it all its own problems. The government says it has put £75 million into a new autism strategy in the first year alone. And it describes this as trying to make society a better place for people with autism is a priority for them, they say. And their plans include speeding up diagnosis, mandatory training in autism for health and care staff, and improved crisis intervention services. But when the health service is already under huge pressure with the pandemic, the social care system's crumbling, councils are facing financial difficulties and real difficulties trying to provide services when they're needed in the community. Under those circumstances, you can understand why families would be sceptical until they see those services a reality when they need them.
Sure. OK. Alison, thank you. Alison Holman. And if you've been affected by any of the issues mentioned in that report, you can find help and advice online at bbc.co.uk/action.